Welcome in and good morning, everybody. We don't normally get to say good morning, but we get to today on this Tuesday. How are you guys doing? In the chat, drop a line. We already got double-digit people. That's amazing for this time. Drop a line of, are you eating breakfast? Are you at work? You at home? You got the day off? You're retired? We'd love to check in with you guys. And if you can't normally make our Tuesday 1 p.m. Eastern streams, are you in a different time zone? Maybe we reach a different audience today, which would be really cool. But outside of that, you guys, my name is Dan C. Bearden. I'm the co-host of this show, 164 episodes in a row. And today's going to be a good one. Today is going to be a little bit of a different angle. I'll introduce the man to my side here in a second. But just for those watching on replay or checking in over here on the stream, we're going to talk about today from the perspective of a beard product company, aka the owner and the people running it. We actually have multiple. We have True North and Johnny Ray in the chat. And we're going to go over what beard product companies wish you, as the consumer and the fan, knew. And it's a perfect time if you guys have questions about the beard industry, if you guys have questions about the beard product making, anything, today is a great day for it, especially as we're approaching No Shave November. So get your questions loaded. Owners out there, feel free to chip in. We got another co-owner in the chat, Miss Jillian Phelps, a.k.a. Jill. And let's check in over here with the man that takes notes, the man that's going to share some plans and thoughts and ideas. If you could, please help me welcome Mr. Nick. Are you cleaning glasses while wearing glasses?
I am.
He's a dude cleaning glasses while wearing glasses.
Glasses inception. You can never listen. This has been a problem now since February, and these things are multiplying. They're everywhere. They're not only a thing that I need every day now, all the damn time. It's like I'm like at night now. I'm like, okay, phone down, glasses off. It's like literally the last thing. So it's like they're with me a lot. So now it's not like they've gotten too bad. I only have 3 pairs.
Okay.
One pair actually also doubles as sunglasses and regular glasses because I have tinted and regular lenses for them.
Okay.
So technically 4, I guess, semantics, but yeah.
That just threw me off. I'm looking over there and I see you cleaning the glass because you like froze for a second and then you came back and you were cleaning glasses. And then I'm like, wait, what? He has it. My brain couldn't process.
You're like, wait a minute, does not compute.
Yeah. We have Nick, the founder and co-owner of this beard product company who has been around the block, who's seen every situation of the industry and customer interactions and policy changes and all sorts of stuff, you guys. So if you could help me welcome Mr. Nick in the chat, and if we could say hello to our friends that are checking in. We have Jeremy, Dennis, Jason, Leo, Ronnie, Chris, Nate, Ryan, another Chris, Jill, Big Red, Dynamite. Come on now. Oh, and Leo wants to know, have you tried Smitty's glass wax yet for glasses and touchscreens?
Glass wax? No, I have not.
Does it prevent fingerprints and all the stuff that gets on it, I'm guessing?
And for touchscreens, I'm guessing so. It has to, right? It's like
some
kind of a wax that like gets in like the little micro pores or holes or something, maybe. I don't know.
Interesting. Now he's going to look into it, Leo. I can promise you that.
Already happening.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Because like on most of our phones, or I think a lot of us, I don't know if you go raw or not, but do you use a glass screen protector on your phone?
I do not.
You go raw. As I started to say it, I was like, you know what? This guy seems like a wild cowboy. So you don't have glass on the front. No screen protector.
No case, no screen protector.
Wait, that's not a case on there either?
No, that's a wallet.
Dang.
I go I go Apple Care for my case.
Okay, explain.
Well, so I mean, you pay for Apple Care.
I don't know what Apple Care is. Help me.
So it's just the warranty. The warranty, the Apple replacement warranty. And so mine, right? I mean, it's like, so you think about it. You get $100 deductible if you break your phone. A good case is $75, and it makes your phone not fit in your pocket, and it makes it big. And This thing's sexy when it's naked. You ever
Right.
seen
It's
one
way
of
better
these things?
feel.
You ever see one of these things in the buff? I mean,
Not
I'll tell
really.
you what, it's a good looking phone, and it feels better in your hand.
Oh,
And
way
so
better.
so in my opinion, if you have $100 deductible because you need to replace your phone because you dropped it, that's about the same as a really nice case. And it doesn't really it's like maybe it's happened once a year or something over the course of things. Not really, even, knock on wood. But I trade them in after they've I usually trade them in every year, but this time I'm actually skipping this year because I don't like getting the first year of a new form factor of phone. So if they're switching from titanium to aluminum this year, I'm going to wait till next year. That's just me personally. I'll stick with my titanium. So I'm waiting to upgrade. But no, I figure the deductible to get a brand new phone is the same for a nice case. The cases get all messed up and gunky. You got to buy a new one every year anyway. Go naked. You drop the thing, go buy an Apple store, go get a lunch, come back, you got a new phone.
You're wild. You're wild.
I don't care about it. I could throw this thing out the window and get a new one. And there's nothing stored on here that's not in the cloud.
Okay, so my only variable is I do a lot on my phone, right? When I work, I watch a lot on my phone. And the game changer for me was this case. This isn't the little charging thing. This is my stand. So when I watch stuff, it just sits. When I can put it on my side, it sits like this and is perfect, and it's adjustable. So if I want it to sit like real skinny, I do that. So that's the one thing where I would have a hard time adjusting.
So, but this wallet does that. It's like it goes under here and pops on under the camera and acts like a tripod.
Oh, okay.
But the wallet just pops right off and it's magnets. So it just sits on there.
Okay. All right.
So
all right.
I kind of get that. And also, there are a couple of cases that I would consider and that I do use once in a while. One that I've been looking at, it's what the hell? I forget the name of the company all the time. Jason Momoa is all over their stuff because the guy gives him free stuff, and Jason Momoa is a camera nerd. And it's this cool case that basically has like clip on the back for lenses and filters that fit over the camera.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they actually make like a whole exterior like rig and cage and lights and mount and mic and handles and a wood mount thing and like a steering wheel. It's got pegs. It's got like
half the content creators now use that kind of setup.
I know. It's nuts.
It is nuts. And I mean, you think about the technology in this thing, it makes sense, right? When you showed your photo app, your camera app, like, show me how many cameras can do that.
Oh, dude, it's one of those things. It's just like it really does. I mean, they have more technology baked into them than like any camera that you would buy under like $5,000 as far as like a dedicated video camera thing. These do just as well. Like, yeah, you got to get into like the Reds and like the Supermax,
right?
The big, huge resolution cameras.
Yeah. Nope, I hear you. And Nate says, he goes, my cases are $12 on Amazon. He has my exact case. My case was $12.
Yeah, that's amazing. And
that's so funny.
You know, I was getting suckered into, I had like, I don't know. I ended up getting like case fatigue. And then Jill just rocks like naked phone. And I got jealous.
That's what she said. That's wild.
Yeah. She's the one that started it. And actually, you know what it was? It was a guy at the Apple store that started it. She's like, well, what kind of case do you use? And he's like, I don't. He's like, Apple Care, and puts his phone down. And she's like, what?
Yeah, he probably got
Who's the guy at the Apple store he started this whole problem?
He probably got a better commish off the Apple Care too. It was win-win for him.
Probably. And like, and the thing is, I was getting it anyway. And he's like, you're getting it anyway.
True.
Well, she does. She has tiny, useless little girl pockets, and like those things. And I'm not. Listen, be careful with the way I worded that. The pockets are the part they don't give girls functional pockets. Okay, that's where I was. That's what I'm getting at here.
Yeah,
They're basically painted on. They're there for decoration. They're this big. Like they don't have any material in them.
They're for coins, dude. You can put a couple quarters in there.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Like Jill's got some
dimes.
She wears them over the summer. It's like you can't fit quarters in those pockets.
Yep. And I refuse to wear pockets now that do not have at least one little zip pocket for my keys and my wallet.
Oh. So you would really appreciate those
Stop, Nick.
Yeah,
Stop
it.
You
looked into them. I know you looked into them.
Obviously I did.
That.
Yes.
I know you noticed that.
I did. I know. And then And then Sam was like trying to justify her like expensive leggings, be like, "Oh yeah, those are like the price of the legging brands I get. You should for sure get them." And just to make it feel better about her spending on those expensive ones.
That's what it is. Yep.
Nick, you're getting me in trouble over here.
Well, listen, misery likes company.
So yeah, but Dan bought them. That is so funny. Shout out to Mom, aka Julie, in the chat.
What's up, Mom?
I love it. And Leo says, Smitty's doesn't claim to repair scratches, but does the same that wax does on a car. Okay. Lasts about 2 weeks. Do you feel it, Leo? Like, is it a noticeable wax-like surface or no?
I'm looking at it right here. It's kind of, there's like, okay.
When I will say, I had a big leap last year. Because the Apple Watch is new to me like a year or two ago. You know, I was never a watch guy. And now I feel incredibly naked without it. And I did switch to no cover, no case on the watch probably about a year ago. Way better. And it's been fine. I hit it on everything.
Oh, yeah. Thing's fine. This phone takes a beating too. Like the stuff's pretty durable now. Especially now that these things can go underwater, like the phones have just no problem going just underwater by themselves.
Entirely submerged.
Yeah, you can just take video underwater. Why not? Why not do underwater video?
And I will say, we're talking about upgrades and stuff. I'm very proud of myself. This bad boy that I have is a 14. So I am officially 3 phones behind now.
You're 3. Yep. I'm only 1 back. I'm on the 16. I can't talk. I was all over it. Once they had the wait, so are you still on Lightning? Do you not have USB-C?
No, I'm Lightning, dude.
Woo!
I forgot that they're USB-C now. That's a game changer.
This is like talking to somebody at one of those like old-timey Civil War villages. Like, what's it like back there in Dumdar times?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm still here. And I used to be habitual. I waited in line for the first iPhone and then was just iPhone every year. Upgrade. And then I was grandfathered in for a while when they used to have like a different plan with AT&T that if you like bought the new one, you could upgrade for no charge when the new one came out, blah, blah, blah. It's not there anymore. But I'm really proud. I like this. I'm really comfortable with it. There's no problems. And so, but I will say, and I used to hate the hassle of switching everything over. That like program they have now is so seamless and so easy to switch your phone over.
Oh, it makes it ridiculously easy. Like it's not even a thing. Like you literally just put you sign in, you put your 2 phones down next to each other, and eventually they say it's done.
Yeah. Yep. Churn and butter. Dang, David is on the 13, and he's still, I'm assuming, with that phone naked since day 1. Raw.
That is,
dude.
That's
guys.
impressive.
You guys not believe in protection? Come on. Golly. We're gonna have a phone population problem here soon. All right. 13 mini. Oh yeah, they did make those minis for a hot minute. They just didn't sell. I watched a video on that. Do you know the number 1 selling iPhone model?
The 12?
Or not like number, but out of like the mini, the normal, the Pro Max.
I don't know. The normal one?
It's always biggest. It's like by like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, by like a big margin. And unless the YouTube video lied to me, that is my source, to be fair. But they were like, because on the new one, they dropped an option or 2, and they were like, people just buy the bigger ones. And it's like, oh, okay, interesting. And like the baseline one was like, I forget, it was an absurd. It was like 20% of the iPhones on the new one were sold from the baseline model. They all go up and buy the bigger ones.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like there's an old video that was like this little cartoon like YouTube video when it was like back in like 2000s when it was still like Android or iPhone was still like kind of a thing. And it was like this whole thing about what was it? It had like the 2 of them in there, and it was like the Android people were like all about their specs and they're like the technical details of it all. And then like the iPhone people would go to the desk and they're, I want the one with the bigger GBs.
Right. That's it.
Which one do you want? Which color? It's like the most GBs, the biggest screen. I want the most, just the biggest one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Big.
No clue what specs they were. They just wanted the big one.
Leo, he said, I've always carried my smartphone in a belt holster. I need the pockets too warm to wear a jacket. Chiropractor again. Yeah, no, never. I don't use back pockets for anything. That's absurd. That's crazy talk. But there was a period, what was it? Probably mid 2000s where everybody did the phone holster. Like that was the thing, that little side piece.
Oh yeah. That was
like everybody.
Oh yeah, like the belt clip was like a thing for a while.
Yeah, and you had to get like, I had one that could like swivel and pivot, and like you had the magnetic like clasp on it, and it was so satisfying just to have that thing just whoosh and just close on you.
Especially like in the tech space, those were like super duper popular. Like if you worked in Silicon Valley, you definitely had like the belt clip.
Yeah, yeah, it was a signal, and then the pager clip too.
Oh yeah, you had to have that.
Yep, that was big. I never had a pager, but my dad did.
Oh, dude, I was riddled with pagers for so long. We had like, it was just being on call in the tech space. I remember one time when the most trouble we ever got in for just doing nefarious things as idiots that worked at big tech data centers. We had like this gigantic storage server filled with MP3s and bootleg movies. And like and this was early 2000s, so there wasn't like BitTorrent yet, you know what I mean? This was like before Napster days. This is when like mp3.com first started, right? Like way back. And so we had this server, it was called Purple People Eaters. And Purple People Eaters had like just terabytes of bootlegged music and movies. And just like anything you could imagine. And so,
oh yeah, I still use Plex.
Yeah.
I still use Plex.
I still use Plex.
My buddy runs. He's got the whole hard drive in his house. You know, the towers and everything.
Oh yeah, I still have Plex running on the tower at my house.
Nice.
I still have a media server running. But like our TVs can hit it with the Plex server app, or like our Roku can hit it. You know, like
same. Yep.
And so I haven't used it in forever, but
now that I think about it, me either.
It's there, but I haven't used it for anything. And then you use like Radar and Sonar to download all like your crap and like fill your series and everything into it automatically with your media server and all your stuff. Oh yeah. Anyway, so one time, back to pagers, best pager story ever is like no one really had pagers, and if you did, you were like a drug dealer or you were doing something that was on call, like you were like a paramedic or something, right?
Right.
That was like the only reasons that you had one back in the day. And so we're sitting around and we're eating sandwiches at this place that was kind of down the street from where we worked at Cisco's, right near like Great America Amusement Park. And we're down there and we're hanging out, and all of a sudden my pager goes off, and then like I hear around the table like 6 other pagers go off. And there was like a good group of us out. It was like 10 or 12 people. And all of a sudden I look over and like everyone's kind of like checking their pager and looking around. And there was no reason whatsoever that my pager and the 5 others that went off would ever go off at the same time. We didn't work on the same team. We didn't have the same manager. Like we didn't work in the same building, right? There's no reason our pagers would have gone off at the same time, except we all had login rights to Purple People Eaters. And so they found it basically. And the Purple People Eaters had this script where it used to automatically download stuff. And we brought down mp3.com basically, but for downloading too many MP3s from them.
Dang.
So like mp3.com calls Cisco and they're like, hey, why are you attacking us? And they're like, huh?
That's so crazy.
Turned out it was like a group of 8 of their employees or so that we were just downloading MP3s, but doing so at far too rapid rate, basically.
Amazing. What a blast from the past.
Beep, beep, beep.
Okay. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that lunchtime trip down memory lane. Now,
Pager Alley.
We do have the doctor of time and space himself. So we are going to transport time to the current, to the present, to the now. And we're going to talk beard product companies from the company side of thing, right? We are massive in this industry about consumers giving feedback and companies listening and adjusting. That's huge, right? That guides companies like we see in the chat, guide companies like Dr. Nick's. Nick always says, you guys are their marketing agency. You guys are their product development agency. You guys give them so much feedback, but it oftentimes is a one-way street. And I don't know if we've ever really heard a topic like what beard product companies wish you knew. Now, I might make this into a video because it just, the more I've been thinking about it, just it hits. And I think people are interested in these things, and we'll kind of see what we have coming up. So we have Corey, we have Nate, we have Chris. If I apologize if I miss anybody else, but company owners in the chat as well. Feel free, if there's a topic that you want to bring up, just drop it and share your thoughts, and we'll expand upon it. But Nick, to kick off, I launched this on Nick on the stream last week. Didn't even give him any heads up, and he immediately was like, "Oh, I've already got a bunch of ideas." Where did you go first? Like, where did your brain take? Because there's obviously a bunch of different angles we could go in this in very different directions. But when you hear someone say, like, "Hey, what do beard product?" If a guy just came up to you in an elevator and said, "You own a beard product company," what do you think consumers? What do you think beard product owners want to tell consumers?
It was funny. The first thing that came to my mind, and it was just something that I was thinking about months ago, was how many vendors are involved with a finished product in a very seemingly simple finished product, right? Yeah, and it just, if you're a small batch, if you're not white labeling products and you're actually making stuff, right? How many vendors are involved? And even if you're not, like, even if you're white labeling stuff that you're getting in from third parties, I mean, you still have that third party, you still have your raw materials suppliers, you still have, your shipping vendors, you have your all the, your white label, probably at least 2 or 3 that you white label your actual base products from. And then of course you have your label vendors, you have your packaging, everything else. I mean, even if you white label and third party co-pack your stuff, you're still dealing with a ton of different entities. And then if you really look at like someone like us, or someone like some of the other groups in the, other companies that are in the chat here that I know for a fact kind of have the same process that we do and the same back end that we do, which is, it is an absolutely obscene number of vendors. Like, we're talking like multiple essential oil vendors alone, multiple carrier oil vendors, multiple specialty oil vendors. Then you have vendors for one type of glass packaging, another vendor for your plastic packaging, another vendor for your poly bags that you ship some stuff in there when you ship merch, versus your boxes, versus your small boxes, versus your wrapping materials that are inside the boxes, right? So, I mean, when you get to it, at the end of the day, you look at this entity here as of Dr. Nick's, and we're a one-to-many sort of direct-to-consumer brand, right? We're not a one-to-some and then some-to-many like we would be in a distributor model. We are a direct one-to-many, direct-to-customer DTC brand. So when you look at that, if you looked at like the spectrum that comes out of light, if you shined it in Dr. Nick's, right, like you hit a prism, it is so multi-spectrum, it's not even funny. Like, you have at least 6 vendors in every category of vendor, and you're like, well, that could probably be more efficient. Why don't you do this or do that? Because that's what the job is. That's the work. That's the
magic.
job. That's the magic. Like, it, having a marketing engine that turns a repackaged product into a branded product is one thing, and that's its own form of magic, right, all on its own. Don't want to disparage that at all, because that is a freaking art. And if you can master it with quality products at the same time, that's beautiful.
Right. But pure e-commerce. Yep.
Absolutely. But then you look at this. No, this is the boutique world that we live in, the small batch world. That's the purpose of being craft. That's the purpose of being boutique at its core, and by the name and by definition, that's what it is. That's it. It's assembling a number of disparate things together to form a whole that is different than the sum of the ingredients. And if you can do that, that also is magic, right? And so, and do it repeatedly, and do it consistently, and do it, the same way over and over again. And so I think that's like the big one for me, I guess, is just like you look at the behemoth. It's like when something goes out on the site, for example, like you can't just think, we don't click a button and say SKU XYZ, SKU number 9945 is out. Let's order more. It comes in a box, it goes on the shelf, the website gets updated. That is how some companies work.
Yeah.
It's not how companies like us work, right? It's that product goes out of stock. That could be because we have enough to make 256 bottles of something, but we only have one ingredient that limits us to 90, and we can't do a batch that small. So we have to up that one ingredient, and it's a week out. So like, do we have the labels and the bottles and 95% of the ingredients? Yep. But is there like, is there a long pole in the tent that we just can't push through until something comes in that's out of our control? Sometimes, absolutely. So it's, I think understanding that, if there was a better understanding about that, I'd say it'd probably give a better, it would give a better experience for everyone all around, because expectations are different at that point, right? So like, if we like being transparent, and if we could be even more transparent, we would, right? Like if there could be like a live cam down there going to see what's going on and to watch this madness, anyone that ever had a question in their head about like, well, when is this, or where is that, or how come this, and they look at that camera, they'd be like, oh, I'm not asking. Look at them go. Look at her go down there. Right. And it's like, I see what happens down there. I see the production floor. I see the shipping and receiving room. I see Jill and Shelly, and you see like 90% of the stuff that comes through. I think people understand absolutely and appreciate like what goes on at a company our size. But then you get the outliers, right, that don't. And I just think like, if those people had the transparency into what we're talking about right here, it would just change drastically the expectation, and then two, probably the way in which they communicate those expectations when they're maybe not met, right?
100%. And you're right. People want to downplay everything that they're not doing. And something like I think you used the word simple beard oil. Everybody's like, I can make beard oil, right? It's the whole concept that everybody was a student, so everyone knows how to be a teacher, So in this case, everybody that we interact with has used beard oil. So they all know how simple beard oil is. But like you said, there's so many layers. And the one part I was going to hit on is, all you need is, out of those, let's say for one beard oil, there's probably 20 plus legitimate moving parts that all have to come together for it to even be sold. Just one of those parts goes wrong, out of your control, like when the container crisis was going on during COVID. You had to figure it out. And then Jill said the seals. There's so many things, from the label to you just can go on forever. And then little things that just don't make sense. Like Chris said, this same vendor that they buy from, same vendor, you can buy a case of jars, which is $600 in the case. And then the matching lids, the lids that go to those jars, this, you can only buy a case, and it comes in $760. Make that make sense. Make that logistically work out when you're doing inventory and planning and scaling. It just does not make any sense at all.
Oh, dude, some of the stuff that people do is just banana sandwiches with quantities and like minimum order quantities, and the way they pack cases. Like the amount of things that come in cases of 198.
Yeah.
Blow my mind.
Right. And one thing that I will say, and there will be some stuff that if you guys watch like the Y Files, they have like the heckler fish. I'm going to be kind of the heckler fish and say some things today that company owners should not say. And one of those is, with all of those different areas that these vendors, that they need to get the final product, a vast majority of them raise prices on a somewhat regular basis. And it might not be the most massive hit when the seals go up 5 cents a piece, but then you're buying hundreds of them. You're like, okay. But then argan oil shoots up twice as much in the cost. Okay. And then glass gets really expensive. And that cost all comes to the company, And then at some point, oftentimes over the years, beard product companies have to raise prices because of that. Well, the people don't see that. The people don't hear that. The people don't know that the little individual pieces that go to make the handcrafted final product went up, and then the sum of it has to be eaten somewhere. This is not a nonprofit. It is a company. And then the noise gets out there about how the price is going up, and the emails and the complaints and how dare you, you're greedy, it's capitalism. And it's like, if you understood that this isn't something that they would ever want to do, that it's just a necessity to survive as a company, it really starts to come together and you get that whole piece of the pie. And it's like, okay, all right, I do understand that a little bit. And Nate said right here, hemisqualane price raised 600% 2 weeks before they launched their line that contained it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And he stocked up, thankfully. But it just, yeah. And she said, triggered the price of argan. And I wasn't being facetious about that. The price of argan has randomly skyrocketed. Why? Because there's only one place in the world that can produce it, Morocco, and they actually have it governmentally protected. And so what prevents them from raising the price? Nothing. And so, yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy what happens with ingredients. Like, that's just such an interesting side of it, that you have to maintain this weird float, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's okay for the wholesale market to fluctuate and increase prices just without notice, wildly, and all the time. But it's not okay in the retail space, right? Which is also a really interesting, dynamic if you think about it. Like, why is that, right? Like, if you think about it, we're just consumers, right? And so we don't happen to be using directly the things that we're buying, but we're, in the case of Jill and I, two people who deal with much larger companies, and we are purchasing something. So
Yep.
we're customers, we're consumers,
Yes.
right? But those people don't treat us like customers. They treat us like we're lucky to be there, like we're lucky to even be fortunate enough to give them our money. And it's, the customer service does not exist on the wholesale side of the fence. So
Right. They don't care.
We're like a backstop for packaging, freight, poor customer service, and bulk materials that we need in small amounts. So if you think about it, like, we really are just, nothing more. Like, we're a floodgate, right? There's a big bunch of stuff that's sitting behind these floodgates that we're holding back all the damn time. And it's supply chain issues, and it's a lot of stuff. And our job is to make it look easy and to present a polished, finished product that's always the same.
Yeah, and what is it about the wholesale vendors? They don't give a heck. They're dealing with such big numbers, like the small batch side of things, because I've dealt with them through proxy as well. They do not care one bit about your business. They're just like, hey, if you want to buy it, this is the deal, and that's it.
And you know what? So, like, I figured that must be because of size, right?
I think so. I think it is.
Okay. It's not. So hate to burst that bubble for you.
Burst it, baby.
So in my other life, right, I get to consult with some gigantic companies, and in some cases I negotiate on their behalf. And
oh yeah, I know that.
Just got through negotiating on behalf of a very large entity. They do about 8 billion a year. And they so I have the full force of their budget behind me, and I'm negotiating the difference between, large amounts of 7-figure numbers. And I am treated no differently from those large cloud compute suppliers in that case as a $1 billion buyer, as I am talking to a raw oils supplier, as Dr. Nick's. It is the exact same interaction. Like, again, buy it or don't. Lucky to be here. You guys are reselling it. Like, if you don't buy it, everyone else is going to buy it. So,
wow.
It's that
Just
that
supply and
same attitude
demand.
continues through the whole supply chain space. Like, it doesn't
Wow.
matter what you do. Just know if you're buying something from somebody who buys things to make something and then sells something to you,
Yeah.
just be glad you're not dealing with their damn suppliers, because chances are they are a giant pain to deal with.
Yeah. Next man up. If it's not you, it's somebody else. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. And that's the
Interesting.
mentality. And it exists everywhere, you know?
Interesting. All right. I have one that I would like to hear your thoughts on as a beard product company owner, because most of us on this side, we get beard conversations on a regular basis. Like, hey, man, your beard's great. And like, hey, use this. Check out Dan C. Bearded's YouTube channel. Thank you, guys. And all those kind of conversations. You have a very different existence. If somebody brings up your beard, it's almost mandatory that you have to let them know you have a beard product company. One, because it's good for business. Two, it's unbelievably amazing and interesting conversation. Like, unbelievably. How does that convo go? Because I've never really I've been around you, obviously. I've been around Nate countless times, been around Chris, but I've never been around when a stranger in the wild at a bar, restaurant, elevator, like you're at a social event for school, right? You're at like a field trip and they're like, hey, love your beard, or what do you do? And you tell them, I own a beard product company. How is that reaction and how does that conversation go? Because none of us know. We've never seen it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Good point. So it's not the first thing I mention, usually, almost always, right? So I've gotten into, I guess it's one of those weird things where, like, you know how you have certain responses to certain situations, and then like eventually you think to yourself, oh man, I've said that too many times.
Yeah.
And
I
you
can't.
come up
What
with
if I
something
repeated it?
different to say, and you forget that every interaction you're having with someone who you'd respond with that, it's their first interaction with you, and it's their only time they've heard you say that. So it doesn't sound old and tired to them.
Do you know how many questions a day I get about beard growth? That's the same question as I got yesterday and as the day before. And I remind myself every single day, they didn't hear me answer that. And so I do have to just, so yeah, you're preaching to the choir here.
Dude, in your head, every answer has to be the first time you've ever answered it.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing that I keep in mind.
Yes.
And so, and if you do keep that in mind, it actually, it helps because, so someone says something about my beard. I say, hey, thanks. And they're like, I've always tried to grow a beard. And this is like, people throw me softballs and they don't even, so like, at any point I could say, hey, thanks. I run a men's grooming company that focuses on beard products. Right. But I don't, I wait, and so they'll say, oh, cool. They're like, yeah, man, I've tried to grow a beard a bunch, but it always gets itchier. I get patchier. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do it for work. Blah, 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 blah. And when that comes up, I'll say, well, full disclosure, I am the live animal test subject for a men's grooming company. My wife and I run a company that's focused on men's grooming products, beard products, things like that. And so I'll usually let it get pretty far into conversation before I'll mention it. And I'll kind of see where it goes. Because once in a while, you'll get like a comment and you'll get a thanks. You'll get another comment back. And then that's it.
Yeah.
And in that case, I don't want to be seen as shamelessly self-promoting, right? But at the same time, I do want to answer questions, and I obviously do want to promote our brand, right? So I'll let it be a natural. Yeah, actually, funny you mention it. Yeah, exactly right. And so like that'll come to the point in the conversation where someone's like, "Oh man, I used this stuff in my beard," or "What do you use?" Right?
Oh, then you can't lie. Right.
Right. At that point, it's basically like, oh, well, full disclosure, we eat our own dog food around here, right? Kind of a conversation.
Right.
And so it's, that's kind of how it goes for me is like,
I look fly on my own supply. Oh, that's not bad.
Hey,
I look fly on my own supply. Come on, guys. That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
No. This brain be thinking.
I think it's one of those things where, if people ask what I do, that's obviously a really weird one for me in a lot of ways, right? If I'm in a certain setting and people say, what do you do? The answer's pretty easy. I own a men's, grooming products company. We focus on beard products. But unfortunately, it's like between the art things and art and photography and music and the cybersecurity stuff and the Dr. Nick side of things, consulting and all the others, right? I am often, people call me a serial entrepreneur, right? Just because sort of all over the place all the time. And then we'll look for like a place to drill in and talk about individual things that we might do, which is great because then you find commonality with people. You throw it all out there. It's like, well, I do consulting, but my main, what I love spending my time on is X, Y, and Z, right? So like
that's good.
Once in a while, I'll talk about kind of like I'll talk about multiple things that I do and see sort of where conversation takes it.
Because where it resonates. Once
in a while, you'll find someone who isn't and nothing to do with cosmetics. But I found a guy who, for example, he made he was a pump technician and like working on hydroelectric pumps and fluid transfer pumps and like things like that. And so it was like insanely interesting to talk to him because I was like, well, here's the stuff that like we use and here's the problems now, here's the things that this and that. And we start talking about peristaltic pumps and how sanitary connections work and the best way to clean oil-based process fluid transfers are, right? So, and it's like, come to find out he works at, water treatment plants and we make beard products. But at the same time, if you mention that you're an engineer, but you also make beard products and you do this and that, all of a sudden he's like, oh, funny you should mention it. I work on X, Y, and Z. That's kind of like relates to what you guys do. So I always do it in a way that tries to help me have more conversation with whoever I'm talking to and try to find like a common ground,
Interesting. See, I'm more like Nate. And I love these topics because it's so different for everybody. And he says, I'm currently shamelessly self-promoting because I'm so proud of what we're doing. It almost spills out uncontrollably. Mine is, and this is my personality. This isn't a surprise to anybody. I don't know. And this is why some people would say, oh, he's braggadocious, whatever. So if somebody gives me a beard compliment or a beard note, I always lead with the same line. They'll be like, dude, great beard. I'll say, thank you. It's actually what I do for a living. And I leave it at that to see what they say.
Wait, yeah. What do you mean? That's what you do for a living?
Yeah. And then I say YouTube. And to be selfishly honest, people think YouTube's very interesting, right? Now, is that the whole story of what I do for a living? Oh my gosh, no. Like the people in the chat right now, Nick, Nate, Chris, Corey, know more than anybody other than Sam how much more I do for a living than YouTube, right? It's maybe the smallest piece of the pie at this point. But it's still, it is kind of the base and the easy way to say it. And then that leads into all the beard discussions. And it goes in almost a similar way you said. I tried this once and I just didn't like it. I couldn't get behind it and blah, blah, blah. And so then we start going into the whole rabbit hole. But that is my response. Hey, thank you. It's actually what I do for a living. And then it just leads into that conversation. And sometimes they are dismissive and they're like, okay, weirdo. Like, and okay. They get going, but I'm okay with being seen as weird. But
oh yeah, so I do have some weirdo ones. Once in a while, like I'll throw ones out, like if I'm in like a social setting where it's like if I'm out somewhere and it's not like a professional setting or it's not like somewhere where like for some reason I feel like I need to be serious. I do like the response of I keep beards on faces and banks out of newspapers.
Yeah, I love that one. I've heard that one before.
That's like my favorite line ever. Is like I keep beards on faces and banks out of newspapers, and people are like, "Huh? What?"
Yeah, yep. And then you have to explain.
And then you can explain, right? And that gives you. It's like, well, then you kind of dive into exactly what you do. But it's like it's like I have two really really smart kids, right? It's like if in like. One's going to Juilliard and one's going to MIT, right? It's like they're both doing really cool stuff, but which one do you brag about, right? And it's because it's like for me, it's like Dr. Nix and Intersec are both just so freaking cool right now,
right?
That it's hard. Like Nate said, it's like what we're doing. It's almost spills out, and it is. And once in a while, I come on too strong because I'm like, oh, I do this and this and this and this. And also these two things are really, really cool. Check this out and check this place out.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
That makes me think of my dad. So me and my dad are pretty much the same person. If you get to talk to him, you're like, oh my God, that's where Dan got his personality and everything from. Well, when he gets to talk about his kids. Now, keep in mind, my family, I was the first person ever to have a college credit in our entire lineage of our family tree on the command side. First one ever. I had uncles and grandpa and stuff that went to college, but they never completed a college credit. My grandpa played sports real briefly before going pro, but didn't compete complete that. And so it like the whatever happened with me and my sisters was just this crazy anomaly. My parents didn't even look at a college. And so when they're like, hey, how are your kids doing? Think about their 3 different avenues that my dad talks about, and think about how, like, again, braggadocious this could come off as. He probably starts with me being the oldest and on paper, maybe the least, like, successful, air quotes. Be like, oh yeah, my son was a teacher, got 2 master degrees, went to University of Michigan, 2022 teacher of the year in North America, top 100, and now he's a self-employed YouTuber that's loving his life and spending more time with his family than ever. And then Stephanie, she went to Cornell Law and she lives in Boise but takes a private jet to LA every single day because she represents celebrities as their lawyer. And then Maggie, she went to U of M Medical School and she runs Northwestern Hospital in Chicago. Like, how do you have that conversation? I literally think about them. Like, how do you not come off as some
just talking about? Like, how does he pick which kid he brags about first?
Right. Because then you start talking about Dr. Nick's. They're like, dude, that's the most amazing thing I've ever heard. And you're like, I do have one other thing that might be more amazing. And then like lead into that. Like, yeah, it's how do you do that? You know, that is tough.
It is. And it definitely, and it is an audience specific thing sometimes.
True.
You know,
some people want to hear it. Some people want to celebrate. Some people want you to be proud. Others, they don't.
No, they don't.
So interesting.
No,
okay.
That is really interesting. I never really thought about that being like a point of interest, right? About like,
yeah,
how that's, you know, how do we approach that? Especially, I suppose, like another interesting thing too is when someone does just ask what you do for work, right? Like, which part of it do you actually mention? Like, as far as like with Nate and these guys, Chris, it's like you guys do just about everything inside of a beard products company, but running a beard products company isn't necessarily an answer, right? Like, people want to know like what it is that you actually do sometimes. Like, what do you do spending your day? Like, that they mean, like, do you work from home? Do you work in an office? Do you go around? Are you bouncing between like barber shops all day? Like, people have no idea what it really means to run one of these companies, right? They don't really know if it's just like, are you bouncing between trade shows constantly? Are you retail purchase meetings constantly? Are you just, head down in front of the computer customer service? Like, it's such an interesting mix of jobs, really. It's because it's a lot of jobs all in one.
And every company is different. There are some companies that live trade show to trade show. There are some companies, right? Live Bearded, great. And again, Heavy is the head of the one who wears the crown, right? So the biggest companies always get the most criticism. And I think Live Bearded's a good example of that, even though I know every owner in the chat in here respects what they do, because if you actually understand, they go about it in a beautiful way. Their founders are still 50% owners themselves, zero investment. Not that there's anything wrong with investment, but it can introduce other undesirable factors and variables. They have built a team of like 20 plus employees, and they do have employees that it's their full career and salary to sit at a computer. A literal friend of mine, his job is flow of sales from your sign up letter to getting you to the checkout. That's all he does, is he runs numbers and tests and AB and does all this stuff. I just talked to him yesterday. And so when you answer that question and you're like, people don't know, there really is like every single possible way it's possible for beard product. If you're like, what do you do for a living? Oh, beard product company. Somebody could answer all of those things, and then everybody's so different. You're right. That's a great thing to be like, what do you say?
Right. Yeah, because once in a while, it's not the category of company you do it at. People will say, like, I'm in purchase. Like, if you're at a bigger company too, right? People might say, like, I'm in purchasing, in procurement. And be like, oh, cool. And it might be like the guy at Live Bearded who does that, right? It might be like 10 minutes into that conversation before someone knows they do it at a beard products company.
Right.
They do purchasing and they do procurement and vendor management.
And that's it. What they do. Yeah.
And they happen to look online, and they did that at a tech company before, and then they did it at a grocery store, and now they do it at a company. Right? Because that was their career, is purchasing, not beards.
Yeah.
So it's like interesting that you end up, the larger you get, you end up with a team of people who are definitely not focused in your niche, right?
Yes.
They're focused on their job,
their skill.
Yeah, exactly. Their talent, right? Yeah, they're focused on what they contribute, not to what they contribute to.
Okay.
Which is really interesting, because when you own something, you talk about what it is that you can, what it is that the end result is, right?
Yeah.
You don't talk about your contribution to the end result and what you do.
You're right.
Right. Because I do all of those things, but that's not what I lead with. It's so interesting, because
that is interesting.
I'm going to give those jobs off to people. And when they get asked what they do for a living, it's going to be one of those things.
And not a beard product company. Yeah.
Right. It's going to be secondary.
Interesting. All right. Well, we have, believe it or not, about 8 minutes left. So is there another topic that you have down or in your brain that you're like, this one just hits right, and I feel like people should know this from a beard product owner's perspective?
Probably what Jill talked about, I think, was probably a good one. Is she was just talking about, well, she brought up a few things, but I think the one that probably really struck is like like she just said, trying not to overthink things while overthinking things while trying not to spiral.
Holy crap. Yeah.
And that's basically it, right? Is like, there's when you see a finish, we talk about how it's like, I guess this is a great way to wrap up the conversation, because we talk about how like we're a funnel of all these things, and we create the nice packaged up finished product that someone can buy. Just another piece of it is that since it's not something that's predetermined, you look at like everything down to labels and the art on labels and packaging and the way things go out. A lot of thought goes into that, and it literally is like just trying to prevent analysis paralysis all the time. So it's always funny when you look at something and you're like, that could have been done a little bit more like this, or a little more like that, or a little bit, a little more, whatever it is. And it's just, you can just know that at one point, an obscene amount of attention went into evaluating all the options that are in something. And so it's, no details are really overlooked, and it really is just a person at the end of the day making the best decision they can with the information they have. And so it's just interesting, because we talked about this before, but if you took your 10 most used things in your life, I bet you can figure out of those 10 which ones are made by a team of real people. And if you think about it, you probably are much more likely to deal with variance and little differences and slight inconsistencies with those products than you are with the ones that come from a giant faceless conglomerate, right?
They're almost welcomed. It's almost character. It's almost like proof that we're not in this automated civilization to a T. And I appreciate those things. I literally think it's one of the reasons I enjoy essential oils so much, is because they're not the same every batch. And there's something that in, like what you just said there about that, there's something in me that craves that hand touch, that craves getting out of, like we were just talking about the iPhone. That's about as consistently mass produced as it can possibly be, right? And it's fun, it's amazing, it's used, but when you get those personal touch things, it just, something to your soul is like, this feels right. This feels right.
Yep. Nope, you're dead on. And it's like, it's the human aspect. And the more and more that AI makes things sanitary and very, just, super, super uniform, and, sort of, people say, it's, I think variance proves the existence of like a soul, right? Like,
yes,
we talked about that before.
Ooh.
Like, we actually feel the connection to things, not because of like their perfection, but because of their imperfection, right? And that's the way that humans are attracted to things. We're not attracted to the part that's the same as everything. We're attracted to like the little differences in nuance, right? And so, that's why those brands are your favorite things that you use, right?
I was just going to say, I'm not trying to cut you off, but variants are evidence of a soul. That's a quote, dude. Variants are evidence of a soul.
Yeah, variance. I say variance is evidence of a soul. It is, and if you think
Wow.
about it, it really is, because that means whatever. I think so anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Proof of a soul.
imperfection
Yeah.
is what.
Is
Yeah,
the proof of a soul. Yeah, there it is.
yeah, yeah. There you go.
Or evidence.
Yeah, we'll keep that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll
Man.
keep it, because I mean, if you think about that, I mean, it's like talk about coming full circle. I mean, you look at like any of those, like you look at like we said, those top 10 products, and then you look at the ones that have a soul, right? Those are the ones that are made by real people, and you're like, oh wow, yeah, I do. I feel a different connection to those things that I use than the rest of the stuff, and it's super duper true.
Man, it is, and it comes back to, and again, this was a perspective that, and I think we may have said it in this stream. I get so many of my prolific thoughts from this stream, but the concept that a small batch company ran by a husband and wife team, there's a lot of people out there where if you mess up one thing, they will absolutely go unhinged in email, absolutely denounce you. They will talk bad about you online. They will tell you they are never coming back to your business again. Nick was venting the other day about a customer that did that because of the shipping being delayed, which they had no control over, right? And most of you know that. That's not something company owners need to share, but it does happen. But that same person will go to McDonald's, get their order messed up, literally a majority of the time. And I'm not saying that in a figure of speech, meaning if they go 10 times, I highly believe at least 6 of those times something will be off. Something will be wrong. And they will keep coming back another 10 times and another 10 times, no matter how bad McDonald's messes it up. But the company that's actually doing it with care, that's actually doing it with risk and everything on the line, one small mess up and you're denounced for life. You're gone forever. Shouldn't it be opposite? Shouldn't it be the exact opposite?
It should be. But I don't know what it is, where it's like we expect in such large volume, we anticipate, expect, and accept poor quality. Right. And it's like if like you do something that you're doing it because it's small and boutique, right? Then you want it, then in your head you associate that with better. So I think your standards are higher, right? And at some level I'm okay with our standards being higher. They should be, right?
That's fair.
But at the same time, we shouldn't have high standards held against us that are influenced by things that are out of our control. That's when that starts to suck, right? Like when the experience gets looked at as like an aggregate, not of individual components. That's when it kind of stings a little bit. But
JB's got it. Small batch. We need to start sending them an online survey to complain. They'll feel better.
Yeah, there you go.
You might not be wrong, right? Hey, please see the survey at the bottom of your receipt. Let us know how we did. Oh, I'm going to. I'm going to share how you guys did.
Yeah, that's the one. Well, you do that one, right? You let them get it out, and then you send the review email that goes on the website, right? You give them a feedback form that lets them yell, and then you wait like a week and let them use the product, and then then you send them the judge me review.
But then now they feel bad because it sank in and the emotions left. They had some time to sit on it. Now it's a glowing, raving review. I'm not even being sarcastic right now.
There might be something to that.
There might be something to that. JB, you might have just created a problem.
You might have just created something good. It's like my dad always said, if you have a good attorney, you should be able to open the door and throw in some raw meat, then go back in about 5 minutes later, and you should, be settled down and be nice, and you can deal with them.
Yeah, that's perfect. Because most people do. After they have that fit of emotion, they do come back, and sometimes they're like the biggest fans ever. I get it on the channel. People will leave these like really hateful comments, and then I'll just hit them with like something to show that I'm a real person. Yeah. And then later they come back and they're like, dude, I'm so sorry. My testosterone was low that day. It's like, I got it, man. You're good.
Yeah, I'd be like, listen, you didn't say that like someone who calls his grandma every day.
Come on. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Nana would be very upset with you.
Man, it'd just be so upset right now.
Okay. I hate that we have to end this right now, guys, but we do. next week is going to be No Shave November related, right? Timely. We got to talk about it, hit it. It's enjoyable to talk about, but also search engine optimization. Come on now. And then maybe we come with a part 2 when we get potent comments, such as what you guys were saying over there and speaking so kindly, like Leo saying, this is a fantastic episode. More, please. I feel like it's worthy of a part 2. And I feel like Nick has other topics. I feel like other owners are now getting the juices going and they'll bring some topics too. I think that could be really fun.
We have a name for part 2. We have a name for part 2, and it'll stand good on its own, but everyone here will know that it's part 2.
Perfect.
And we'll just spring it on Dan now. And
Perfect.
We'll call it Success Isn't Final and Failure Isn't Fatal. That'll be the name of this one. That's going to be the theme. And we're going to talk about how, continuing this discussion, right? You can't get comfortable and think that just because you won some things and did some things that you can just sit back and relax and let things fall apart. But you can also, of course, feel the opposite of when things mess up and go sideways. You can turn them around with just the opposite bit of energy. So
yeah,
a good one.
Absolutely. And Corey says, shout out to Nick for opening the discussion. Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Awesome, guys. All right. We will be back to our normally scheduled time of 1 p.m. next week. Even though we had awesome turnout today, we appreciate you guys adjusting your schedule for us. And maybe we had some new people tuning in. But outside of that, you guys, I don't have anything else for you. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I don't know if Nick has any final notes or thoughts.
Nope, we got some good stuff coming. Halloween's right around the corner, and No Shave November's right behind it. So we got some good topics coming up, good Instagram stuff coming up, and we will be diving into all of it next week.
Yes, sir. All right, guys.